Hello everybody, I want to quickly go through the changes that I made compared to the first version of my Ultimate Universal Tree Farm. First of all, I made it more compact wherever possible. So this side is now a lot more compact, and it's basically just compacted the old wiring. So the sequence for normal trees still takes 24 seconds for a cycle, because the triple piston extender is still the limiting factor, so that wasn't made faster. But what I made faster was the tree detection. So there's interesting behavior that trees that are bone mealed by dispenser are between repeaters and comparators in the update order. So if you look at a single game tick, first this repeater will turn on, causing block updates, then the tree will grow, and later after that the comparator will turn on, also causing block updates. Yeah, and this is quite useful because I can turn on the dispenser, which will shoot out the bone meal for game ticks later, and if I turn on the comparator afterwards, I can detect the tree within the same game tick and start all the consecutive actions. So I also found out that normally those comparators are jammed if you use a fast comparator clock. So they don't do nothing, they don't power blocks or anything, but they still cause block updates, which is quite useful. So if you look over here, I have a block update detector, and if I use a comparator that doesn't give out redstone signals, he still updates the block next to it. And yeah, this is quite useful because I need that fast signal for the dispensers anyway. And this also only works with the jammed comparator. So if you have 2 repeaters in a row without a block in between, then you don't get any updates. By the way, this is just knowledge on the side. You could prevent them from being jammed by having a block in between. So here's how it looks inside the tree farm. So there's a redstone dust going into the lock as soon as it grows. Then under the dirt is a piston that pushes the dirt up, and this is updated by this comparator here. So as soon as this piston pushes the dirt up, this other piston that is a moment but powered will also update. Yeah, and that's the instant detection. And then it's basically just an instant repeater, and then we have other instant repeaters. So as soon as the tree grows, you would start harvesting. And yeah, the Acacia mode was made a lot faster. So the old one was 32 plus 2 for the detection, and this now is 28 and no detection. So 28 game ticks versus 34 as it was before. And this was possible by a lot of zero tick chaining. So if you're interested in how to change zero ticks, I would recommend to watch my tutorial about zero ticks and instant repeaters that I made a few days ago. The hardest nut I had to crack was this side here at game tick 25. So over there we have the problem. So at game tick 25 I have to do 3 actions. So first, this piston here has to push the logs out, also extend and retract within the same game tick, but later in the game tick this one has to extend and retract, and then over here the double piston extender also has to extend, and both of those have to retract. And yeah, that's only possible in 1.8. so in the latest snapshots they merging changed the behavior. You can't do the instant retraction with a double piston extender. I hope this gets fixed, because Jab said that the instant double piston retraction is intended behavior, so the easiest way to do this is just having a comparator and a repeater and powered at the same game tick. And yeah, that's the easiest way to do. So I hope this will get fixed in the final 1.9 version. And this only works if it's in the same piston action. So if you have all of those piston chaining, then obviously you can't use a comparator to power it, because the comparator will update way before all those piston actions. So basically you have to use a zero tick here, and also have to retract that within the same piston action. And yeah, let's take a look how I solved this problem in the tree farm. So it's a chaos. So that is the dual edge zero tick pulse generator that activates the pushing piston, and also there's another one in the chain that does the retraction. And coming from that, there's a chain of pistons just to get a longer piston chain. And here's a zero tick pulse generator that pushes in a sand block into another zero tick piston generator. So that makes sure that yeah, you won't push in the block before everything else has happened. So let's get it to this state again. So obviously if you power this too early, then this happens and yeah, the block is lost, so you can't grab it 3 game ticks later. And yeah, so the sand gets pushed in, and that happens way behind in the update chain. And also from that zero tick generator we take out another signal, which if another update chain sends this redstone block back, which powers the piston in the back here, so that's the double piston extender. And yeah, it's unfortunately locational, the solution. So in most of the cases a update chain of 3 pistons works. So I copied this farm 10 times over with MC edit, and in most of the cases the update chain of 2 works, but in some cases you have to do this, so only one more piston to update it. But yeah, in this location redstone does this locational. This is the solution that works. So if you would try to build this and this double piston extender here fails, try to use a single piston here. What also changed was the whole transport of the logs inside the wizard cage. So it's also now more compact and more easier to build. And also, yeah, there's now a possibility to use a single wizard if you want to. But you could also use 2 wizards, like you could do in the bedrock from the end portal. Then just put in a second wizard. That should also work, and you don't need those pistons on the side then. But still, there's the possibility that a 4th log would generate the same Y layer, that some of the logs would make it over here, and then you also need those pistons pushing them back again. So if you're wondering if you could use the bedrock formations that you find in the Nether in certain locations, so I explained this in my video about a simple tree farm. No, because you need a double piston extender here, and you have to power it from the top. So yeah, at this height there's in most cases some bedrock in the way, and you also need to put redstone line on top of it. So if there's a way to remove bedrock, you could still build it in the Nether if you want to. And yeah, instead of this damaging system, you could also damage him with snowballs. That would also work. So I didn't add a collection system yet, and in the end you could use water, and the Nether I would recommend hoppers or hopper minecarts for that task. So it's up to you where you build it, really. One more change that I made was adding the jungle tree mode. So by activating the jungle tree mode, those pistons at the side would get pushed inside the 5x5 area around the sapling, and this forces the jungle tree to grow at least 8 high. So at most it can grow 10 high, but so it can grow from 8 to 10 high. And yeah, this is useful because we don't really need the small trees, so it's better to wait for game ticks for a bigger tree than to grow the small tree first. And I did some testing, so by using the jungle tree mode you would need more bone meal per log. So the test results were that without the jungle tree mode you get 1.36 logs per single unit of bone meal, and with the jungle tree mode here you get 1.16 logs per bone meal. But with the jungle tree mode you get 23,000 logs per hour, and without you get about 19 to 20,000 logs per hour. So like with the eco mode, you have options. So if you have enough bone meal and don't want to AFK that long, then you could use the jungle tree mode, so it's really optional. Or if you're short on bone meal, you could use the eco mode and turn the jungle tree mode off. That would be the most bone meal efficient way to get logs. Yeah, and the eco mode, like in my other tree farm would disable the comparator clock a little bit longer, which would save on bone meal. So this dispenser would turn on for game ticks. So one time before the tree could grow. So saplings have 2 growth stages, and if you already bone meal it, then it could get to growth stage 1, and so in the second try, as soon as it can grow, the chance is higher that it will grow at the second attempt, but it's not certain. It could also take 3 or 4 attempts with 3 dispensers. So by default, I do the pre-bone milling before the tree can grow, and you could turn this off if you want to save on bone meal. So the eco mode saves you 10% bone meal, but the farm is 5 to 10% slower, depending if you use acacia or spruce trees. And the oak mode is by default echo, so you can only bone meal the tree as soon as it can grow, because oak trees can grow in pretty much any condition unless there's a solid block directly above it. So if you have blocks here, oak trees can grow, and that would mess up the whole timing. So the dispensers for oak trees will turn on 24 game ticks after you've started harvesting the first tree, and acacia would also turn on after 24, but birch, spruce, and what's left, jungle would start bone milling 20 game ticks after starting to harvest the first tree. Okay, I think that explains it. And other feature, as always, there's an apple filter. Get apples from the oak trees, and I think now I've covered everything. So there's still those are the lines going in for the dispensers and droppers. So obviously you need to put some chests there, and you need at least 2 lanes going in there. So the best solution, I guess, would be to do something like this and put a chest on top, or several chests next to each other, either on this side or on this side. It's really up to you where you build it. So you need at least 2 lines going in there, because you need more than 9,000 bone meal per hour, but less than 18,000, and 9,000 is the number of bone meal per hour a hopper can transfer it. But it's really up to you. You could also place it directly on here and make this longer, so that's up to you how you would do the bone meal. Okay, I think I covered it all. There's a world download if you want to build it. It's quite complicated, especially this side here with all the zero-tick chaining, and that's quite a mess. Also make sure that I always use slabs and solid blocks where I do it. Also in most cases it isn't necessary, but in some cases it is necessary to use a slab. And so check the world download. The schematica mod also helps with building. That really helps a lot. But that's it. That's the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed this and it's useful for some of you. Have a good day and goodbye.